The moon landing was fake. Elvis is still alive. Area 51 is hiding aliens. History is littered with weird and wonderful conspiracy theories that refuse to die no matter how bizarre they are. But there's one rumour in the world of music that stands tall above all others. And that is that Paul McCartney actually died in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike. Now, according to the theory, the story goes that Paul McCartney got into an argument during songwriting sessions for Sgt. Pepper's, stormed out of the recording studio, and in a fit of rage, climbed into his Austin Healey and drove off into the night. And it was at this point he was killed in a horrific car accident. Rather than announcing the tragic death of one of the most famous musicians on the planet, the conspiracy theory believes that the Beatles did something a whole lot weirder. They hosted a Paul McCartney lookalike competition. Now, the two names that always come up when people talk about this are William Shears Campbell and William Shepherd, and people also think that you can hear their names elsewhere in the Beatles' lyrics. There's no proof that the competition actually happened, or that these men actually existed. And it seems pretty miraculous that the Beatles managed to find someone that didn't just look like Paul McCartney, but also sang like him, played instruments like him, and wrote songs like him. There was some accidental muddling of facts, which is probably what led the conspiracy theory to snowball so much. Bookending the alleged incident where McCartney died, he was actually involved in two separate car crashes. The first caused him to have a scar on his lip, which is then what led him to decide to grow a moustache in 1967. And the second involved his Mini Cooper, but he wasn't driving it, and he certainly wasn't killed. But nevertheless, the rumours snowballed until in early 1967, a Beatles fan magazine decided to publish a statement under the headline False Rumours, dispelling once and for all that Paul was dead. It read, "The 7th of January was very icy, with dangerous conditions on the M1 motorway linking London with the Midlands. And towards the end of the day, a rumour swept London that Paul McCartney had been killed in a car crash on the M1. But of course, there was absolutely no truth in it at all, as the Beatles press officer found out when he telephoned Paul's St John's Wood home and was answered by Paul himself." By 1969, the rumours had gone mainstream, and a lot of that was actually thanks to something that happened in September of that year. A young student journalist at a university in America decided to write an article for their local paper exploring the rumours, and it was only really supposed to be a bit of entertainment and fun. But it sparked a massive conversation, and then on a radio station in Michigan, a DJ called Russ Gibb decided to talk about the drama as well. And then the really exciting thing happened. Someone called Tom called up the radio station and told Russ that he needed to play the Beatles track Revolution 9 backwards. Now, these days we talk about backmasking quite a lot, but at the time, asking a DJ to play a song backwards was very, very strange. I mean, it kind of still is. But that's when we heard the phrase Revolution number 9 change to Turn Me On Dead Man. And it was that convinced a lot of people that the rumour was actually real. And then just to really top it off, another cheeky journalist that was listening to this show called in and pretended that he had information on the person that was supposed to be impersonating Paul. He even gave the name William, although he later confessed he'd completely made it up. And once fans started looking for clues, given the sheer size of the Beatles' catalogue, it wasn't surprising that they found them everywhere, and that definitely included song lyrics. For example, the opening line of Got to Get You Into My Life begins, "I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there." Then there's the A Day in the Life lyric, "He didn't notice that the lights had changed." And perhaps most famously, the opening line of She's Leaving Home, where they sing Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins. To conspiracy theorists, that was the exact moment of Paul's crash. Even Lady Madonna became part of the myth because of the line, "Wednesday morning papers didn't come." And near the end of I'm So Tired, Lennon can be heard muttering, "Monsieur, monsieur, monsieur, how about another one?" But played backwards, listeners claimed it became Paul is dead man, miss him, miss him. And probably most famously, at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever, Lennon mutters the words cranberry sauce. At least that's what he said he was saying. Fans were convinced he actually whispered, "I buried Paul." Album covers were also analysed a lot by conspiracy theorists, who were convinced that Sgt. Pepper's was full of subliminal signs that Paul was dead. For example, the flowers in the bottom corner of the album closely resembled his bass guitar that was left-handed. The Indian god Shiva was appearing pointing at Paul, and he was also wearing a sort of armband that they thought said OPD on it, officially pronounced dead. But it turned out Paul had actually borrowed it from the Ontario Police Department. The real holy grail of an album that people thought proved that Paul was dead was Abbey Road. Now, to the naked eye, it might look like they're just walking across a road, but conspiracists were convinced it was actually a funeral procession. John Lennon as the White Priest, George Harrison as the Gravedigger, Ringo Starr as the Undertaker in black, and Paul out of step with bare feet, just like a corpse. Eventually, McCartney had no choice but to address the rumours head-on. So in one of the strangest moments in musical history, Paul McCartney held a press conference to prove that Paul McCartney was alive. He later spoke to Life magazine about it as well, saying, "Do I look dead? I am fit as a fiddle. I am alive and well and concerned about the rumours of my death. But if I were dead, I would be the last to know." 6 decades later, the idea that anyone could secretly replace Paul McCartney seems impossible to believe. Not only because it would have been so hard to keep it hidden, I mean the scale of the cover-up would have been huge, but also because if Paul really did die in 1966, then who is this incredible, mysterious person that contributed so much to Let It Be, Sgt. Pepper's and the White Album? If Paul really is dead and some guy called William replaced him, he must be a very phenomenal musician.